not a current educator. I'm just learning to become an educator. And after all of that, I don't know if I can keep it together to get through what I have to say. So I'll start with the easy stuff first. I'm going to talk about how you can use real-time internet and social media in your day-to-day life, and then how I would use it in my classroom as a teacher. I just returned from studying abroad. I don't know if any of you are going to UNI. Awesome study abroad program. It's brilliant. I just got back from studying abroad in Scotland, and it was huge in our family. I'm the first one to go overseas, unless it was one of the boys in our family that proudly serve our country. So I had to plan the whole thing myself and get my rear on a plane and fly over a massive ocean. Well, I'm so excited that I don't check my email the entire day of, getting ready to get on the airplane. When I land, there's this awesome Scotsman there to pick us up in the van that we had ordered, and he takes us to our flats. So we go and we get our keys and we sign our contract, and we think, great. After that long, blank plane ride, we actually get to lay down and go to sleep for a while. No. I walk into my flat, and there is plastic hanging from every ceiling to floor that you could possibly imagine. The toilet is in the kitchen. All of the, desks and chairs were in random bedrooms, and the beds were flipped on the sides. Oh no. I'm supposed to start school in 3 days, and my place looks like someone hit it with a bomb. So we walk back to the concierge, and he says, oh yeah, your flat flooded. We sent you an email. Well, I was in the air when you sent that email. So thank God for Skype. We had to coordinate with my home university, UNI, to find new accommodation. And then I get hit with another bombshell. I wish the bombshell ladies were still here. Oh, yay! P.S. I know all those women you were talking about. Mm-hmm. I had applied for classes, and as my dean of my college is very picky, we had to get all of our classes approved ahead of time. I get there, and all my classes are full, and Scotsmen are very stubborn, so I cannot get into these classes that I had been approved for. And I have to figure out how to, organize everything so I can get into some form of classes and have it count towards my major when I return. So Skype saved my life quite literally in the first 3 weeks, though, the time difference causes many issues. I could call back to my home university and the office here and make sure that everything was okay to go and get verbal confirmation. So that was amazing. Plus, being that far away from my family was the hardest thing I think I've ever experienced in my life. And my parents, especially my dad, made a huge step forward and got Facebook just to talk to his daughter. Yes, and I don't know, some people have Facebook, but they don't know that there is a video chat feature that Facebook has connected with Skype. It's awesome. And so I use that to keep in contact with my family and my closest friend, and her and I have been best friends since 9th grade, and now we are doing the same thing as she decided to swap positions with me and go back to Norway when I came home. So we've been doing this for about the last 9 months. So that's Skype. That's awesomeness. I would suggest everybody get a Skype account. On to education. So my brother would probably be the first person would have his eyebrows up. And we're German, so they're quite bushy eyebrows. He would be quite confused to hear me explain why I would want to be a teacher. My brother is 5 years older than me, and I have 2 other siblings above him. I led most of my life based off of my eldest brother, who's 13 years older than me. He was the prodigal child, couldn't do wrong in mom and dad's eyes. But my youngest brother, the one that I fought like cats and dogs with, the one who ripped my pink blankie, and I will hold it against him until I die. the one who, him and I butt heads all the time because we are more alike than we thought, he's the one that inspired me to be a teacher because he has a learning disability. And let's see if I can get through this. I think it's a serious problem with the education department or education system when me, at the age of 6, could say, there's something wrong when my brother isn't being taught because the teacher doesn't know how to teach him, or the teacher doesn't want to teach him because he's difficult or different. So I have made it my personal goal to help all the struggling students, the ones that the teachers look at and say, you go sit in the corner, I can't handle you today. That's the last time I'm going to deal with you. I take that student by the hand. Now, why did you do that? Would you like it if someone did that to you? Well, do you think you can say sorry? Every single time they will say, yeah. I've worked in a daycare since I was 15, in varying ages from 2 to 10, and have done tutoring on the side. And it's so frustrating to see people that are going to be future educators that still react like that towards my brother. So, to bring it back to social media, I had this one special case in the daycare that I worked in last year. And this little boy, I mean, the teachers in this daycare had been watching him since he was a baby. And they could tell you every awful story about that little boy. They could never tell you the good stories. And one day, I think I nearly made the father like pee his pants. He came in, and we'll just call the little boy Billy. Billy had had kind of a rough day. He had hit one of his friends, which is not cool. But, you know, you have a timeout, you learn your lesson, and you move on. All the other teachers would have said, you know, Billy was bad today. He did this, and he mouthed back. Then you send that child home with their parent. That's great. My kid can't seem to, you know, get it through his head. You know, my kid can't seem to behave at the daycare. That's not my job. My job is to have the student or have the child learn from their lesson and then talk with the mom and dad if it's serious, but send them home with good feelings, knowing that their kid learned something at daycare today instead of they did everything wrong again. That snowballs. Well, Billy was having issues trying to learn something that we were discussing in class. And so I turned to Twitter because social media has like taken over my life, and I really can't explain that. We'll get to that. But I turned to Twitter to ask other educators, you know, see what they were talking about on how to help students with learning disabilities or that are just like me. I don't know where Liz is, but I have like that nonstop brain. And I mean, that's my brother and I are so much alike in that way. I wanted to find out ways to keep Billy entertained because it's not as easy. And so that's where social media comes into play. And I'm actually studying to be a middle school teacher, which everyone goes, oh God. But I actually find it to be a nice little challenge. They keep you on the toes. And one of my other experiences, I taught at Carver Academy, which many of you know is in Waterloo. And it's kind of in a struggling area. I guess that's the most appropriate way to state that. And every classroom is filled with handfuls of my brother. And you would not believe how many of those students have it all going on up here. But they have what I call like vomit brain. Like it's going so fast that it's just hitting the wall. And your job as the teacher is to rein it in a little bit, you know, great, you're awesome. You have so much going on up there, but you gotta, like, put a little lasso around it and rein it in. And we used Promethean boards, and these kids have been texting, I swear, longer than I have. And so we used, every day the students would come in, and to keep them up to date with the curriculum and check to see what their learning status was, we would bring out these little, I don't even know what they're called. They're like little text remotes. And the teacher would have a quiz generated based on questions from the day before, and the students would sit and anonymously answer the quiz questions, and then a bar graph would shoot up on the screen, and you could see which questions the class seemed to really, really get, and which questions the class needed a lot of help with. This social media back channeling, someone mentioned it earlier. I think yes. I couldn't remember what the name of that was for like the last 2 days. Thank you. I hope to use that in my classroom. Kids can comment on what you're teaching so that you know what you need to improve and what's really working. Social media is awesome. And I guess to wrap it up, like I said earlier, it has kind of taken over my life. And I literally mean it has taken over my life. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and just because I'm an overachiever at times, I've convinced our entire office staff to put like the office on Facebook and Twitter, and now I manage that for the registrar's office at the university. And then we have Twitter and Facebook accounts for the Colleges Against Cancer program that I'm part of. It's just, and then I blog. I have like 3 blogs, and I've convinced my family to be part of the blog scene. It's like a virus. It takes over. And I guess there's really nothing bad about social media. I get a lot of people think it hinders communication for people. No way. You communicate 10 times faster with everybody from all over the world. And I don't know how I'd live my life without it.